Hi there. Today we're walking along the Hull and Barnsley disused railway track. It was one of the last major railway lines to be built in the 1880s. We're actually in a very deep cutting. It's probably about 60 foot deep, cut through magnesium limestone, which is a very hard rock. Ahead of me lies the western portal of the Barnsdale railway tunnel. Let's go and have a closer look. Now, Barnesdale Tunnel, at a length of 1,226 yards, is a major feat of Victorian engineering. Just look at that portal. Now, the tunnel is built entirely of red brick along its full length, and with 3 100-foot ventilation shafts at regular intervals, it's going to be a great explore. We've just got to get in first. As you can see, I don't think they want you in this tunnel. It has got some formidable defences. That is about an 8 to 10 foot fence covered in steel plates, and that in turn painted with anti-climbing paint. And on top of that, there have run some rather vicious looking steel defence. If we look up on this left hand side, I'll just zoom in. Got a CCTV camera mounted up there. You can probably see the PIR operate. How I understand it, if a CCTV camera has got a flashing PIR, it's most likely a fake. Also, there's no cabling and there's no power supply around here, so I'm going to take it that they're fakes. Really, to get into a place like this, you need a ladder or something like that. Luckily, I brought one with me. Let's get in. Safety gear on first. That were easy enough. There's nothing like climbing a security fence to get a bit of adrenaline flowing. My heart's beating like anything. I'm going to let my heartbeat settle down and just calm down a little bit, and then we'll make our way into this tunnel. Calm down a little bit now. Certainly get some adrenaline flowing, climbing over that fence. I think that's part of the fun and the excitement of these explores, is actually getting in there. Anyway, I'm in now, and it's mine for the day. I intend being here 6 or 8 hours, photographing and filming all day. Now this tunnel is massive, biggest one I've been in. Probably over this shoulder you can see a teeny speck of light. That's the eastern portal next to the A1 motorway. Now this tunnel, like I said, was built 1885, so it's 138 years old. But the brickwork is amazing. We're going to make our way into the tunnel, and I think the 3 highlights that we're going to look for are 3 ventilation shafts. They are amazing. The brickwork, well, it's just like a work of art. So I'm hoping to photograph the ventilation shafts and the rest of the tunnel and do a bit of filming on the way. So we'll make our way further into the tunnel now. First look down the tunnel this, you can probably just make out the eastern portal in the distance, perfectly straight. I've just taken this photograph with the natural light behind me, so the foreground is a bit bright and obviously very dark in the distance. Better view from here, 200 yards in. I've taken this with light painting, heavily shuttered roof, and you can see the repair patches on the brickwork on the left. I think we say the quality of the repairs is not up to the same standard as the original 1880s brickwork. That's looking back to the western portal. Just look at that amazing brickwork. These are the refuges. This is where the railway man would take protection when a massive steam train loaded with coal wagons would come thundering past. So he'd be in here and he'd be safe. These are beautifully made. Three layers of brick. It is like breaking away in places, but it has been repaired there. And just look at the detail. The back of this is actually scalloped out, so you can get further in and more protected. Every one of the refuges has got a hole knocked in the back. I understand that is for inspecting what is behind the rock, and also to relieve any water that could build up behind the refuge. But what a beautiful piece of construction. Now the highlight of this tunnel, and of any tunnel, is the ventilation shafts. Now we're just approaching number 1 ventilation shaft, 310 yards in, so we've not gone that far, only a quarter of the distance. But look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. It's like a work of art, this. So this is number 1 ventilation shaft. So what I'm going to do, definitely going to do a load of light painting around here, get several photographs, and I'll tell you what I know about the ventilation shafts. Absolutely stunning. That's the first ventilation shaft. Wow, look at that. That is pure artwork. Think of the skill and effort that went into build that. We're 310 yards into the tunnel now, and that debris on the floor, that's from when the top sort of ventilation shaft stack was knocked in. That's a closer look up the shaft. It's about 100 foot to the surface up there. You can see how the edge of the ventilation shaft is constructed from blue brindle bricks. These were special bricks fired at a high temperature. It made them very hard, high strength and low water absorption properties. Ideal for a location like this, as well as looking very decorative. I'll just show you this sign. You get these at the base of all the ventilation shafts. This one's thrown me a bit. Top letters DFT. It was supposed to read BRB, British Railway Board. So whether that's new, I don't know. All I can think, DFT, Department for Trade, I've no idea. HBR3 is the Hull and Barnsley Railway Company, and it's Tunnel 3. 132, not sure about, and obviously shaft number 1, which we stood underneath now. But we'll have a look at the other signs as we visit the other 2 ventilation shafts. That's looking back, and you can see the heavy soot covering on the left hand side. Now on the right hand side you can see, due to water ingress, the soot has fallen off, and then the sort of water coming through the limestone has left the walls covered in very attractive calcite deposits. Just look at this calcite deposit. Like I said, they went through limestone to bore this tunnel. So behind these walls is limestone, and as the water comes through, it leaves these quite beautiful calcite deposits all down the brickwork. You might not be able to see these, but I'll show you them closer up. These little drain tubes that they put in, that's to try and relieve some of the water pressure that is behind this tunnel wall. Well, it's solid, it's just like marble. Makes fantastic photographs. I'll just show you a bit closer in at this calcite and the little drain tubes. So that's one of the drain tubes up there, if you can see that. It's just a piece of 1-inch plastic pipe, I think. They've just drilled through the wall, put the pipe in, and that will relieve any water pressure that's built up at the back. But it's quite beautiful, this calcite. You get such amazing colours, and it really provides some great photographs. Just look at that. You can probably hear the reverb from my voice. But look at all those colours. Beautiful it is, just like marble. We're not far off the middle of the tunnel now, and we should be near to ventilation shaft number 2. It's the middle one and the deepest, so we're going to head down there now. So we're in the middle of the tunnel now, and up there you should be able to make out ventilation shaft number 2. Bit more sooty this one, but still an impressive sight. We're going to have a look at the label on the wall, see what that says, and then probably try a couple of light painted shots. Yep, it's same as before, DFT, Hull Barnsley Railway 3, shaft number 2. What a picture. 630 yard in, and this is the middle vent shaft. But look at that, you've got everything in that photograph. Beautiful brickwork, calcite on the wall, that fantastic ventilation shaft with the blue brindles round the edge again. And then the western portal in the distance. What a fantastic picture, even though I say it myself. That's looking to the eastern portal again, and you can see soot on the roof. I suppose you could say this is the view a driver in a steam train would have got as he looked out the cab window, if it had been illuminated like we are doing today. We've just arrived at air shaft number 3, the final one. I think it's about 910 yards into the tunnel. Quite a lot of soot round this one. I can just see a speck of light at the top coming through a hole. Definitely worth a few light painted photographs, this. There's a sign on the wall there, I'm going to check that as well. But this is the final air shaft. Right, 930 yards and vent shaft 3. A lot more sooty this one, you can see it's covered in thick soot. Also, if you look ahead, the brickwork looks very poor. You can just make out the eastern portal in the distance. That's looking up shaft 3. You can see a teeny light showing through at the top. We might have a look for that. You can also see there's 3 railway lines being put across the top, and they're used to support the concrete cap. Just gonna check the signage on the wall. Same as before, DFT. I bet that's been moved to the side and they've painted out the old British Rail Board initials. HBR3 is the same, and shaft number 3. I've shown an interest in these signs because when we get out the tunnel at the far end, we're going to follow it back over land and try and find the shafts and the identification numbers again. Now there's just one more thing to tell you about this tunnel. When I was looking at it on the internet before I'd even ventured in, I did read several reports, believe it or not, that the tunnel could be haunted. There were strange reports of a mist appearing from nowhere in the centre of the tunnel, which does happen in tunnels. And there's also this, Sharon's Spring. Now nobody seems to know who Sharon was. Whether she was a vagrant living in the tunnel, or perhaps she was killed by a steam train. Nobody knows. But I can tell you, I've walked past here a couple of times, and when I walk past and think about it, the hairs on my arms stand on end. I'm sure there's nothing in it. I can see the light of the eastern portal about 300 metres away. I reckon I could run that in 30 seconds, so no problem. But it's just another interesting fact about this tunnel. I'll try and show you a closer view of it, and then we'll carry on further down the tunnel towards the end. So I'll show you a closer view. So it's probably just fresh water running through a natural spring, draining into the tunnel. It's just stories that I suppose have been made up over the years, and you don't know what to believe. I know when I put these photographs and film on the computer, if I see somebody stood next to me or a shadowy figure there, I ain't coming in a railway tunnel ever again. That's looking back to the western portal. Sharon Spring on the right, and vent shaft 3, which we've just left, it's only about 100 metres away. whether you can make that out, because it was so covered in soot, it's sort of well disguised. You can see the poor brickwork in this area as well. We're at the eastern portal now. Got the same unclimbable fence to get over. So, like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to get out the tunnel and then follow it back over ground and try and locate the 3 ventilation shafts that we looked up. So, I'm going to get up here and I'll see you on the other side. Back out in the daylight again. Look at that. Anti-climbing paint. It is everywhere. Anyway, fantastic explore. And we've not finished yet. So like I said, what I'm going to do now, we're going to walk back across the fields where the tunnel is and see if we can find the 3 capped ventilation shafts. So I'll just get all this lot cleared up and we'll make our way up onto the top of the cutting so we can wander across the field. Oops. So this is ventilation shaft 3, or should I say the capped top of ventilation shaft 3. If you think when these were fully open, they were probably 3 or 4 meters high, but they were knocked down and capped for safety reasons. We've got the same signage here, and over there is a hole. That would have been where we saw that teeny speck of light at the top of ventilation shaft 3. I'll show you a closer view of it. You've got the same signage we had in the tunnel. Department for Trade, Hull and Barnsley Railway 3, shaft number 3. And over here, if I can find it, there's a small hole, and that's where that speck of light was showing at the top of ventilation shaft 3. So we'll wander further up through this wooded area and go and find ventilation shaft 2. Not so easy to find this one, well and truly overgrown. But this is the top of shaft number 2. We've got the labelling. There's also a hole straight through there, and I can see the top of a piece of rusty railway line which was used to support the concrete cap. The signage has faded a bit on this one. But if you look down there, you can probably just make out a bit of rusty railway line that is used to support the concrete cap. Go and find number 1 shaft now. Not too difficult to find this one. It's right next to the path. So that's all 3 ventilation shafts found. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to the western portal where we entered this morning, and I'll have a last word with you down there. Back outside this beautiful western brick portal where we entered earlier this morning. What a fantastic tunnel. At 1223 foot long, it is one of the longest tunnels I have ever been in. But it was fantastic. I mean, the highlight for me were the ventilation shafts. I mean, that brickwork, it was magnificent. I only hope all my light painted photographs work out okay. So if I could say thanks for watching, I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you on the next one soon. Bye then.